I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott.
And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Season 2, Episode 14. The Holbert Racing, number 14, Lowenbrow Special Porsche 962 that dominated IMSA GTP in the early years. How'd you like that, Nate?
That was pretty good, and I did not see that one coming.
Did not. You thought I was going with American icon AJ Foyt.
And Tony Stewart.
Could have.
Yes,
that's
you know.
yeah.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
so,
That's true.
so two badasses.
But we went with the third badass of American sports car
hey,
history.
listen, I like him, so bring it.
You can save Stewart for 22 when he ran the alternative.
We could.
So
That's fine. On tonight's episode, we're going to discuss NASCAR at Richmond, Larson, Indycar at Texas, a shootout. Literally,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
shootout.
Literally,
that's a
yeah.
good way to sum
It
it.
was. And F1, down under. Good on you, mate. Baby got your dingo?
Gravity certainly was. I'm thinking there was gravity shifts during the race.
Would you like some
but
Vegemite sandwich?
Oh, that sounds awful.
No, thanks.
Marcus Ambrose would
That's
probably
my
say, yeah.
horrendous Australian accent, but anyways.
Yeah, well.
So, moving on. Nate, let's talk NASCAR. What do we have to say here?
NASCAR went to Richmond, and 3, 2, 1, Larson.
Larson dominated, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was up front
So-
a lot of the time.
Yeah, so
He's officially in the chase.
Uneventful race.
Playoffs.
Uneventful
Yeah.
race, which is,
Well,
uneventful in the
the only
sense
thing. Hang on.
there was no
So the only
stupidity
thing-
in the race. Let's put it that way.
Well,
Or
talk to Christopher Bell because I think he didn't
that's-
see a replay
yeah.
that
All right.
seemed to be a wrong assumption. So, hey, C Bell, I love you, but hey,
Okay,
I don't know. You need my
you're
glasses
right.
for that one.
Apologize. I did see.
Uh,
I did read up on that. Sorry.
So no, and all of a sudden, Ross Chastain has more memes about him instead of just riding a wall to get into it. So
All right. So
more of that, where
okay.
that came from.
All
So,
right, so quickly as we go through the results of the race, Kyle Larson with a dominating win. So Josh Berry, who
great run.
might
Great
be
run.
finding himself a full-time seat somewhere soon.
He almost won that race too, and he was in position to.
Yeah, they've
They found someone.
What a sub
And
for
and I'll tell you what.
Chase.
I'll tell you what. And here's my prediction on this.
Yeah.
I think if Junior Motorsports ever goes into Cup, Josh Berry's their first driver.
That would be good. Yeah, good.
I
selection.
think seriously.
Would
like,
Mr. Hendrick let him go? We don't refer to him as.
unless it's like an alliance or something.
We don't refer to
so,
him as Rick. We call him Mr. Hendrick here on the podcast.
Mr. Hendrick.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hendrick.
Mr. Hendrick.
And okay, so yep, and then there he was, Ross Chastain once again, top 10.
Right. Always.
Third.
And you know who else got a top 10, Sean?
Harvick, bounce back.
Top 5. Yeah,
Top
he
five.
got a top 5. But
Michael McDowell, bounce back race.
Yes. Sixth, which is really good.
Oh,
But-
well, he snuck in.
Wait, no.
Snuck
Hey,
in. I
who
know
came in
Truex
10th? Who
fed
came
the
in 10th?
gas at the end, so Bad Brad got a
came in
10th
10th?
place finish.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that was a
right,
pity
that's right.
10th place finish for Brad.
No. You know what? It happened, and results are needed. So
All right. So there we go.
he's going in the playoffs this year.
Excellent.
Mark my words.
Let's move over to the standings.
The playoffs. Yep.
Playoffs.
Let's take a look.
We're
six drivers.
6 races in. No, 7 races in. Right.
7. Yeah.
7
So,
races in.
Sean.
We have 29. How many left till the cutoff?
No. So 19.
19. No.
Yes. 26 races in the regular
So
season.
we have
and 10 in the
19 to the cutoff.
playoffs.
19 left to the cutoff.
Right. Yep.
And we have a total of
6 drivers in out of 16
49
spots.
drivers that have driven in the series so far, and 6 of those are locked in. And the odds are once again looming that will be populated with locked-in drivers, hopefully. So we have Logano locked in. We have Kyle Busch locked in with the biggest the recent win. Larson's locked in. William Byron's got 2.
Solidly in.
Tyler Reddick has 1, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah.
There we go.
And you know what's funny? He's in 16th in the points right now, like actual points.
Doesn't matter. He's locked in.
I know.
Right.
You know.
So right now at the top of the field, we have 3 drivers on point. Well, 3 drivers on points. Chastain, Bowman, Chastain, and Bell. Now Bowman and Byron. Oh no, Bowman. Bowman actually shouldn't be there.
Isn't he leading the points?
No, allegedly leading the points.
Minus 40.
Yes, minus 40.
You know, so
All right.
if in the event of that stood.
That getting overturned. Anyways.
Yeah, right.
All right. So where are we off to next, Nate?
We're off to Bristol, the dirt race.
Oh, this is the dirt. Is that this week? Oh no, it's not this weekend.
No, it is this week.
Well,
It's this weekend. They're racing on Easter.
On Easter?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I think they are, Sean.
That's what
That's
it said
like
to me.
that's
I know it's sacrilege.
that's sacrilege in NASCAR. I know they don't race
happening.
They won't race on Mother's Day. That is verboten.
They
No,
do.
it is. It's true.
They raced on Mother's Day plenty of times.
Yep. Sunday, April 9th.
Darlington
at
used to be the
7
thing.
p.m.
There it is. Sunday, April 7th.
April 9th.
April 9th.
At 9th,
Easter Sunday.
Sunday.
I know.
Yeah.
I hope these guys got
Sean, you
permission
get to
to run.
go Easter egg hunting, and now
Wow,
you get to see a
I
dirt
know.
race.
Well,
So
there you go.
more
Hopefully
to
it's
do on
better than
Sunday.
last year's race.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well,
Anyway,
a little bit of excitement there. Looking forward to it.
What is this isn't this the 3rd year on dirt?
It is. The first year was good. Last year was issues. I think it was kind of weather related, not like
stupidity on the last lap.
Leading into the race, it got a lot of rain, so the track got really tacky and it wasn't really that good. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
well-
we'll see. Okay, all right. So off to Bristol.
You saw that finish, right, Sean?
When?
Last year.
Yeah, it's just that's last year. That's last year, man.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
So let's move on to IndyCar.
Yes.
Now this, wow, what a race!
Great race.
Awesome race.
And I'll tell you, it was furious from the start.
It
too,
was,
'cause,
and I read somewhere in the stats. I don't know. I'm not gonna pin it on somebody, but somebody did. Marshall Pruitt did put out like an amazing stat package on the race, but I don't know if it was in his stat package, but I did read somewhere where there was over 1,000 on-track passes during that race.
Wow. That's insane.
For 1,000?
And I think there
Over
was
1,000.
official leaders.
Huh.
It was like
Not
20 something
That's not 1,000 for the lead. That's just
No,
through
no,
the
in
field.
total, yeah, in
you
total.
know.
through the field.
Yeah,
That is pretty
Look,
like,
and I
wild.
don't think it's. I don't know if it's necessarily counting at the line or what. You know, if you know,
Right around the track.
You know, somebody got around
Or-
the track and then got repassed. I mean, I think that's 2 passes, whatever. But that's a wild statistic.
Well, that's what 250 laps. That's 4 passes a lap.
I think I like the distance too
Yeah.
because it makes it a race.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Because,
What
I
did you
mean,
think,
there was
Nate?
a year, it's like, well, I liked it. It was a really, there was constant racing
Yeah.
throughout the race. And it wasn't like single file like
Yeah.
previous years.
And we had one idiotic moment on pit lane.
Oh, and Alexander
That was
Rossi.
totally Rossi's fault.
No,
That's a hot take from Christian.
no.
I don't.
That was Kyle Kirkwood.
I think it was.
He
50,
wasn't-
I think
I
it
think
was
it's
50-50.
50-50,
Because on one end you can say, well, it was an unsafe release if you
But
know.
when you're coming from 2 boxes back, you gotta go. I gotta yield. That's the
right,
thing.
and That's the other thing too.
Look,
It's like
he's
he was
two boxes.
way
He's two
far.
boxes
Yeah.
away, and they waved him out. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Kirkwood's got to go. He's going. I got to yield. Sorry, you're coming in.
But-
He's
but-
going out.
But Sean, I look at the replay each time of it, and I'm like in the Alexander Rossi pit box, and it's like, how do you not see this pink car coming?
Yeah, but I think with these guys, they know how many boxes back they are. So if they're 2 boxes back, they're letting the guy go. That's just my assumption.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to wait for the Hinch and Rossi podcast to find out what happened. I don't know. Sometimes Alex doesn't like to talk about those things on the podcast because he likes to keep his mouth shut, which is I agree. So, other than that, race was amazing. O'Ward and Newgarden had a furious
Amazing battle for the lead.
Yep.
Palou was
And there were
Palou,
points that were
Palou,
touching.
Palou.
Palou made it 3 wide. And,
3 wide.
You know, made a
and
wild
then
pass for the lead.
just there was some drives in the race, like Malukas. Like once again,
Oh my god! I know.
he's like starting to be like his background's more road course, but he's starting to be a terror on like in a good way on the ovals.
Yeah.
Right, and he's you saw this at Gateway last year.
Yeah.
Where he was flying,
Well, you
and
saw
he was
it
like,
at Texas last year too.
yeah, but it wasn't more like it was like, okay, maybe there's a
I
few
don't-
wrecks
I don't-
and you're there.
Yeah, but I don't.
But
I don't care.
But Gateway was where he showed he really has figured out these ovals, and he passed Will Power. And on the outside, that's not often a young driver gets to do that, And then Josef Newgarden was the last driver he could get, so he finished second. So I mean, the win was
it was wild. There was just guys,
possible.
There were guys lurking all over the field, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see, and I'll even look. It's this guy has a really good chance, and there's been drivers in the 18 that have really shown that they could bring Dale Coyne to the front.
Yep, I agree.
So, and look, I'll put it this way. All right, I see it as kind of 50-50 on this. Like Dale Coyne racing, and I'm talking about Young Coast racing as well.
Yes.
I see it's not okay. It's David Malukas, like team leader, I would say. Colin Eilert, team leader as well.
Yeah, but
okay,
the thing
two drivers.
But the thing you have to look at with those two teams, they don't have, like, first off, they don't have the star drivers. So yes, a lot falls on Malukas and Eilert, right, as team leaders. But secondly, behind the scenes, they're not running with the budget that Ganassi, Penske, and Andretti are running with.
Right.
To that extent, even Shank's running with. So, I mean, I just find it amazing what these teams can do.
Right. But in the same hand, it's, AJ Foyt, wait, not AJ Foyt, Dale Coyne. Yeah, they have Stingray Robb. He was showing up a little bit there at the end.
Right, but I'm just saying, Nate, in the background.
But Benjamin Peterson.
But these guys
and you
don't.
see his
These guys
races,
don't have.
what he's
They
done
don't
so
have.
far.
They don't have the damper programs that those other teams have. They don't, anything like that. Which it's all about dampers on these things. I mean, what you're doing is you got guys that can put a consistent car out there that's fast. The drivers do overachieve with it because of their great skill, and they're nimble and they can make adjustments. So good on them.
Right, and I'm telling you, like in that 18 car, it's been Justin Wilson, it's been Sebastian Bourdais.
Yeah.
Serious drivers came out of
Roman was
Dale
in that
Coyne.
car.
Yep, the 51.
So
I mean, it's possible, and David Malukas is showing that he,
he's not a
sure
slouch.
the road course background. No, he's not a slouch
He's
at the
not a
ovals
slouch.
anymore.
And he's working hard to warn himself into a bigger ride, I think.
Right.
Even though I know his dad's company is kind of has affiliated themselves. HM Motorsports has kind of affiliated themselves with Dale Coyne, but still pretty good.
Right, HMD.
Yeah.
So, I see, and I tell you where I can see it happening is Chip Ganassi.
Because I was just going to go there. Good call.
So, I really,
Have they announced
just gonna ask you, like,
fill in for Palou next year?
I don't think so. I mean, do you argue it's Takuma Sato for a year and then David Malukas?
No,
or like
no. And Marcus Armstrong, like, I don't know when he'll get comfortable wanting to do the ovals.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's like,
but that's
do you hire David Malukas, or do you like hire maybe the two you have in the house?
No, they're not going to hire. Takuma doesn't want to do full time anymore because he essentially lives in Japan, and that. So I think Takuma just wants to do like whatever ovals he can and try and do the Indy. He wants to do the TK special.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's a good point. Good point there, Nate. That's its spot. Yeah, he could go there.
I mean, realistically, I don't see Will Power going anywhere soon.
My pick to click on the Rookie of the Year right now.
Right.
Augustine Canapino. A fine effort. Finished 12th. Mm-hmm. If I scroll on down, everybody else finished
Kyle
behind
Kirkwood.
him. Kyle Kirkwood.
Benjamin Peterson.
Yep.
Stingray Rob. So he's showing up. He's getting points now.
Yep. So
anyway, I would guess Kyle Kirkwood would be leading all day.
Well, Armstrong technically is out of it because he's not doing the ovals, but they may. I don't know.
Anyway, unless he gets like 3 wins, and then
he's just doing. He's not doing 2 rounds.
He's missing 2 and doing 1 of the ovals.
Yeah, he's doing Gateway and Iowa.
Iowa, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So the shorter ones.
Switch over to points real quick. Pato with a second top 5 finish. Has overhauled Marcus. Second.
Yeah.
Has overhauled Marcus Ericsson.
Right.
And has a 7-point lead. Third place. Has he done anything this year yet?
Just lurking.
Scott Dixon.
He's just grabbing points where he can,
Grabbing points and not playing grab ass.
He's there.
And Newgarden with the win vaults into 5th. I'm sorry, 4th over Palou. And then Malukas and Ilott are sitting 6th and 7th. And Scotty McLaughlin sits 8th. Will Power.
Two-time.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the Verizon contract extension. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, that's just it, Sean. More to my point.
He's tied with Alexander Rossi, and 9th. And I'm sure Alex is like best with that because that is the most quietest 9th place you could possibly be in.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope the fortune tide, the tide changes there. And then Colton's sitting 11th, and then my man, Augustine Canapino, sitting 12th. So Juncos has 2 cars in the top 15.
Yeah, and that's big for them.
That's impressive. All right. So IndyCar is off to their second. Their jewel race is obviously the Indy 500, but I would say their next in line jewel race, Long Beach Grand Prix, which is always a fun event. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to that. That'll be great. That's in 2 weeks.
Yep.
From the streets of Long Beach. So looking forward to that.
That's going to be a great race.
All right.
It's really going to show who's, in it for the championship this season, I think. Whoever wins this race.
That's right. All right. So, shall we go to the land down under?
Oh, God, I'm feeling some gravity shifts, Sean. Holy cow. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
It was. Oh, man. I'll tell you. I didn't know where to go.
Where shall we begin? It's a mess.
Let's put it this way. Let's begin with the disaster that was Sergio Perez in qualifying.
Oh, I know.
Mean, I love him. I love Checo. But this is the thing. They're coming out of the first race, strong showing. Second race, kind of established himself to be a contender alongside Max. Third race, gets the qualifying, throws it away in session 1, and I'll be honest with you, he's got no hope. I mean, seriously.
No. No. Look, he got fastest lap. Okay.
Right.
Which shows something.
There's also somebody put a conspiracy theory together that after
did Yas blind him with a laser or something?
That after Jeddah,
Jesus.
I think it was, Perez put out a tweet, and basically like the last line of the tweet said, and I'm gonna fight for the championship or whatever, and then ended up deleting the tweet, and then basically reposted the same tweet but without that last line.
Oh.
So
you serious? Jesus.
Because then the other addition into that is they only brought Ricardo back on as just a reminder of stay in your place, otherwise we can replace you.
Well, here's the other thing. Lando has an out at McLaren.
I mean, when's his contract due? Like the 26th? 2026?
24? Yep.
Okay, because I thought he had a lot longer of a contract.
No, I know. But,
Not that I don't think he'd be fine in that role, but I think from a team principal standpoint of view, do you want that kind of environment where you could have
Horner said he made a mistake in not going after him.
Oh no! I'm not knocking Lando.
I have to think there's some interest there.
I'm not knocking Lando. He's very good, but I think
here's the other thing: no one really knows what's going on at Mercedes with Lewis.
Yeah.
No, and I'll tell you what, I think there's just a few options here.
Yep.
I think eventually when Lewis Hamilton retires, I think it's going to be Charles Leclerc that goes over there.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute.
And maybe Lando goes to Ferrari. Who knows? But
so I think the surprising qualifying was just Checo not.
He wasn't with it.
I think the one that was kind of quiet was Albon.
In terms of good.
In terms of good. No.
In terms of good. And Hulkenberg.
But
second time this year.
The biggest disaster in qualifying
I agree.
was Checo. I mean, if you're gonna play the game and be there with him and hound Max, you can't slip up in qualifying. If you have a car failure, I'll give it to you. All right, but that was clearly he's trying to blame it on the braking system. And I'm like, dude, you threw it in there so late it wasn't even funny.
Well, yes and no, because in practice 1, car was fine.
Yeah.
In practice 2, there was an issue. In the practice 3, he was having the problem.
Right, but then they went and looked at Max's braking points versus Sergio in that session, and Sergio is 20 feet beyond Max trying to drive it in there. It's like, dude, it's Q1. Where are you going? The whole idea is advance.
Yeah.
Save it for Q3. Like top 15. You know,
right. You don't get points for winning Q1.
I will say though that the one thing that is getting kind of masked that I don't think a ton of people are talking about is how close the grid is.
The grid's close,
so you really can't slip up.
The grid's close. Now, in qualifying, do you get DRS all the time?
Yes.
That's
sorry. You get DRS in the zones, not 24/7 around the track.
Okay.
Like that.
Right.
That used to be the
DRS
first.
zone.
I think that was the first year.
Yeah, but I
agree.
Christian, I absolutely agree. The field is closer. And hats off to Mercedes. Did a great job.
Oh yeah, no. Great by everyone. I mean, literally everyone too. I think it was a really
Albon
close
definitely.
weekend.
Albon's the surprise of the weekend.
I think the weekend that I'm actually looking forward to now is Austria, because that race is always close to begin with on time, so that'll be really interesting.
In the shortest distance track.
There's no sprint race there, is there?
I think so.
I don't know.
That Monza, Sao Paulo,
I know,
and we have all sorts of I don't even.
Oh, Baku! I know that's so stupid.
Let's save the sprint race discussion for next week.
Okay.
Because
I summed it up basically, didn't I?
Yeah, that's
stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyways,
anyway,
I was actually skiing at Sugarloaf over the weekend in Maine, and there was a New England Collegiate Schools skiing championship there, and I overheard some of the kids actually talking about the Formula One, the changes in the Formula One for the sprint races, and they were all like laughing, like this is dumb.
Oh my God, yes.
So, just to recap, there's 6 sprint races this year. There's the first one is at Baku, the second one is at Red Bull Ring in Austria, the third one is at Spa.
Okay.
And then fourth one is Qatar, or Qatar.
Gutter.
Fifth one is at Coda, and the sixth one is at Brazil.
Sao Paulo.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll do a deep dive into the forthcoming FIA changes. Is it FIA or Formula One? Who's changing this?
Changing what?
It's
the qualifying formats and sprint formats.
That is F1.
That's F1.
That's
my boy.
Not FIA.
That's my man Stefano.
Yes.
And Liberty Media.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
when
did they become NASCAR?
Apparently, Bernie.
No, I don't think.
Oh, I know.
I don't think Bernie had anything to do with that.
Speaking of that,
No.
We'll save
Oh.
it. Save it.
I was gonna say, Sean, we're jumping the gun already.
Yeah, we are jumping the gun on that. So let's get to the race.
So lights go out.
Lights go out, and away we go.
And then
I thought George made a fantastic start.
He did, and I'll tell you what. Lewis did.
Yep, Lewis did as well.
You know,
I think,
like
I will say
Mercedes
I
will
say this. I think one Achilles heel with the Red Bull is its starting procedure.
Like off the grid.
Yeah, because both cars are slow off the grid a little bit. So So I just think that's where these other teams, Fernando, Lewis, and George, take advantage of it.
Not so much just the starting procedure, but you can see on the track analysis that they're not the strongest car out of slow corners.
Just once it gets going, then it's lights out. So we head off down to turn 1, a little bit of, Dyson and stuff, all clean, and then we have a red Ferrari go flying into the sand trap.
Right, but touched that Ferrari?
I don't know who touched them, Nate.
Cha-ching! Come on, where's
Daddy Cat? Oh, Daddy's Cat.
Yeah. Where's my cha-ching?
There we go. Sorry. Got a little music, a little disco music with it.
There we are.
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, there we go. He gets two sounds because he took the Ferrari out. Jeez, that was crazy because Leclerc has no luck this season. So, wow. None. Anyways, so we got him
second DNF. It's really getting scary.
Obviously we got Charles stuck in the gravel. They get him out of there.
I'm sorry. I think that was Charles's fault.
I can look.
I don't know. I think
I don't know. I'm going either way with this. I don't. Call
it a racing incident. Call it Charles because he made his outside.
My whole thing is, if you're starting back that far, if you're not in the first 3 rows, I don't want to see you. There is no thought. There should be no thought with how many DRS zones they have.
Right.
Okay, so like if you're up front, I get it, you go for it. But when you're back, kind of where they were with the Ferraris, just survive the first corner and get on with the race.
It's turn 3.
It doesn't. Whatever. Turn 3, turn 2, whatever. Just survive the first
sector.
Just, survive the opening lap.
I get that, but that's where Charles needs to.
I know. That's what I'm
slow it
saying.
down.
I get it. I just, I mean, that's kind of where I'd like to see K-Mag not get into trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
he didn't.
I mean, like the king of getting in trouble in the first lap is now sitting in a interesting position in the points is Hulkenberg. He used to always get in trouble in the first lap.
Yeah.
Maybe he's learned over the years, Sean.
Well,
but I'll tell you what.
And
it was
then
a really good start for Mercedes.
It was great start for Mercedes. They leapfrogged Max, got 1-2, and then we got George starting with the wah 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 because Lewis was pressuring him. Well, Lewis was pressuring him because it's like, let's go. We got to get away from the car because the two of them can work together to pull out that 1 second gap so the DRS is not impacting them. And he's sitting there screaming and yelling.
Right. I didn't get that.
Oh, no.
Whatsoever.
You got to listen to it. It was fantastic.
Oh, no, I listened to it. I just don't get it. Like, it's just go faster. Why are you looking in your rear view mirror?
Yeah,
like,
and why are you complaining?
Get on with it.
Yeah, just get on with it and drive.
Yeah.
Because Lewis was getting on and driving because he didn't want Max whipping the wing open and going zipping by. Yeah. So, so you got him, that starts. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm sure the guys, this must have been like last year at Mercedes, like,
Well, there were a couple of times where they just told him to keep pushing.
Yeah, keep pushing, right? And then that's when he's like coming back. I can't. And I'm like, oh my god, brother, you gotta go.
Get with the program. Come on.
Get with it. Like, did you not get the memo in the meeting that you got to get away from, Anyways, so
Sean, who's the number 1 driver in Mercedes?
Lewis. I'm sorry, Sir Lewis.
George, I think, might think he's the number 1 driver.
Yeah, George thinks a lot of things. Yeah,
well,
and how many? Honestly, I say this quotation fingers. How many world championships does Lewis have?
6? Oh, I mean,
no, 7. 7, 8.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. So I don't get this, whatever. Anyways, so, and then, we charge on. And then, unfortunately, Albon just mucks it up, throws it off the track. Yeah. Heavy hit into the barrier.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Nico Hulkenberg almost tagged him.
No, Christian's over here laughing. No, I don't know what. That was it was pretty heavy.
Yeah. No, I just remember
did Alex Albon like to crash?
No, I think it was Coulthard's comments. He's like, I don't know why they're throwing the red flag for this. He didn't really hit the barrier, and then he watches the replay.
Oh yeah,
and he's like,
he backtracked all over it. Yeah. And Julian Palmer was like, you kind of hit the tech pro pretty hard. I mean, there was stuff everywhere. Okay. Yeah. There was crap. There was a couple people. Some of the track was blocked. Well, there was the rocks on the track, but there was some piece of the car that were on the track.
Well, I get Coulthard's argument for if it's a red flag for just the stuff on the track.
Yes,
you can do a safety car and sweep.
If you look where that barrier was,
yes, the barrier moving was the cause of it.
And the reason that barrier is there like that is that cars can go off at a high rate of speed unabated there. So I'm all for that. I don't think there was any reason not to. I 100% agree with Mercedes' call to bring George in.
Yes.
Because you weren't going to double stack. Because if you double stack, you'd give Max a
potentially a huge advantage.
Yeah. Because if you double stack, so they did the right thing. They
split the strategy.
And
cover
Lewis
off one
didn't say a word. Didn't say anything.
No, I didn't.
But Georgie Porgy, like, dude, the reason you pit first is you're the first car. Now, had they pit Lewis first, oh my god, like the tears coming from
both sides.
Well, no, yeah, well,
it would have been. It would have been
whatever. It didn't matter. The Mercedes made the right call. They pitted their first car to split the strategy. Yes. That's what you do.
Right.
Then so happens they got burned because it went red flag.
Yeah.
But it didn't necessarily. It burned George, but it didn't burn Lewis.
Right. No, and it's not like it's not like it killed George's race entirely either.
No,
because he still had the whole race to go and he was in what 6th or 7th, and just had to get up to podium.
Didn't they? They restarted the race, right?
Yeah.
So it started with Hamilton first.
Yes.
And Max second.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what Russell was complaining about. Like you get now. All right. So you got one go around lap on your tires. That's it. All right. But couldn't he change the tires when he was in the pits on the red flag?
Yes, he could have. But so it's not and like no. And he didn't. They didn't change the tires.
Right, because they were just there was no wear.
Right, because they were still under safety car.
So, right. Well,
yes, because him and Sainz pitted.
They pitted, and then when the red flag came out, couldn't they change the tires again?
They could, but they don't have another set of hards.
Oh, I see. They only have one set of hards. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't think that. So we go do the race.
Sorry, they only had one set of new hards.
Right. So, all right. So restart the race. All fair and good. No problem. Only thing I didn't like on the next, we missed one thing. Hamilton's pass on Max.
Pretty good.
It was fine.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
I didn't have a problem with the pass. I get where Max is coming from, just because you've now written the rule as such. Right. This is what I have a problem with. It's and that's more so. I just have a problem with like the driving style that's or standard.
No one touched. No one did anything, and it was just whatever. So I don't have any problems, but this is what I do have a problem with. The driver's complaining all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, if you're gonna write the rule and it's not,
gotcha. So we go to the next stage. We start, and we know where this is going, because there is no way that Lewis is going to outdrag Max. Like, he'll get off the line first, which he did. Keep the lead, which he did. But as soon as the DRS got enabled, Max is like, okay, I'm going to start closing the gap, close the gap. And he timed it perfectly. He passed him where he got double DRS.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really could not defend that.
You can't defend it. You can't defend it unless you're Ted Kravitz, who thinks there's something hokey with the DRS that the Red Bull uses.
Oh no!
It's the super duper DRS.
No.
He calls it.
I'm gonna jump on this. Apparently, the Red Bull is so fast it makes the Mercedes looks like it's Formula 2.
Right.
Does anyone forget how dominant the Mercedes was in 2014, 15, 16?
2014, Bahrain.
After several individuals on the Sky broadcasting team did have forgot. But they're part of Team LH.
One lap, the Mercedes was 2.5 seconds quicker than everyone else. Like, I understand. I understand the Red Bull is the dominant car this year, but it's not as dominant as the Mercedes was.
Right, and Lewis's spot qualifying lap was out of this world.
Yeah.
However, if we go back to the last race, and this was put up by an esteemed podcaster, I think Mercedes needs to kind of look at Max started somewhere deep in the field, came through and finished 15 seconds ahead of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Like 20 seconds ahead of them. Right. So I think there's problems with your car. Anyways. So I just didn't think and then Max just drove away at that point.
Yeah.
All right. So we drive on. And then unfortunately K-Mag has the blowout.
You skipped George Russell's blown engine.
Oh, George. Yeah. All right.
You skipped a couple.
Okay. So the whole Russell thing went moot with one big kablamo.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw a conspiracy thing out on this. Why didn't the thing blew up before the pits? Why didn't you just pull in?
Right. Unless it's like after the final corner.
See it.
See it. The whole place heard it. Like they said the thing sounded horrendous.
Right, but don't get me wrong. As a driver, I've been in the same situation where if you hear something, you just kind of like keep going in hopes it's going to solve itself.
I understand that. The one thing you don't have is the 500 engine monitoring guys.
I agree.
That sat there and said, like, I saw all the red lights, and it was like, why don't you bring it in the pits?
When did they say that?
The car blew up.
No.
On the straightaway.
When did they tell him that
they never said? No one said anything. The thing blew up.
So if they didn't tell him,
how do you know?
The motor blew up.
There's a problem.
The motor blew up on the straightaway leading into that chicane, that left right, and then they come around and they make the right. Well, when they make that first left, the pit lane is just up the road. That engine had blown up down the straightaway. That's where that thing blew up.
On the short shoot into the second to last corner.
No, before that corner, it blew up on the straightaway coming around the big sweeping corner there. That's where the thing went kablamo.
Right.
But Mercedes decides, we'll just let it go down the straight, park it, and we get a yellow flag because we can bench the field up.
But it didn't.
That didn't work out.
It was a virtual safety car.
I know that. I understand it it backfired on because they got a VSC instead of a actual safety car. What if they put a safety car out there?
If they put a safety car out there, then Max would have blitzed away anyways.
Okay, in theory, yes, but it's just like it's just crap like that goes on during the race. It's just like bring the car in the pits. There was no need.
I don't.
I would have kept going.
I don't.
Yeah, I would have kept going.
And we'll agree to disagree on this.
Because the only thing from my side is where he parked it. It was in a reasonable spot to park it. It's not like he
Past the pit lane.
No, at the exit of pit lane, where it was easy to roll it back, so it wasn't VSC.
I'm just saying that car should have been retired beforehand.
And I'll give it credit that to Lancer and Jetta, he pulled off in a safe spot.
I agree.
It was the race directors that made the bad call of the safety car.
It was GPS.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
No,
all right. We'll agree to disagree on that. I urge both of you to go back and look. I urge both of you to go back and look at it.
You just said GPS for Lance. That's not.
It was a GPS that the GPS system said that the car was in an unsafe spot and they couldn't see on the camera. That's what it was.
Right.
There's a GPS system.
They couldn't look at the camera and figure out where it was.
That's what Julian Palmer wanted to know, why they didn't look at the camera. And David Coulthard said the same thing. Why aren't you looking at the camera where the car is? Because the GPS system that goes back there said that it wasn't in a safe spot. That's what triggered its safety car.
That same point I apply to this Mercedes situation too.
Well, I urge you both to go back and look at it. Anyways, we'll disagree. All right. So then, we have K-Mag's tire go. And that, Max is just, see you later.
Okay. Yeah, it's a yellow.
And you also forget about all the passes that happened.
Oh yeah,
through that Checo made
back chicane. Well, yeah, Checo, Carlos.
Right. When did? Okay,
there was a couple.
The reason I'm getting
Sonoda
to this was
actually K-Mag had a really good pass on Sonoda.
So
again.
When did the two? When did the Alpine boys hit each other?
The last red flag.
All right. No. Okay,
yeah,
so
we haven't gotten there.
We had K-Mag and
actually because in the battle for fourth, so Max drives away, Hamilton in second, Alonso's pushing him in third.
He was
keeping him honest.
Yep.
But then right behind him was Sainz, Gasly, and Stroll, and that pack was inching closer while Lewis was managing his tires.
Right.
But that was a good
dust up,
a good battle there. Everyone was keeping them honest there.
Then we have K-Mag's red flag, right?
Yeah.
And is that when? Then they restart the race.
And then all of a sudden, red flag.
They restart the race. Well, first off,
it's red flag with like 3 to go.
So apparently, some of K-Mag's wheel went into the audience. The crowd.
I heard that.
That was crazy. Anyways, that's unfortunate.
Freak accident.
The whole thing was freakish. So we have another red flag. Clean up. We go, but this time we don't do a standing start.
No, we do.
They did a second standing start?
did a third one.
They did a third one.
The
race
start.
The second. Oh, okay.
The first red flag for Albon.
I thought when there's a second red flag, they don't do a standing. Anyways, all right. I apologize for that. And then the Pride of France.
Well, right before that, there was the Spanish Civil War.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my God!
And that Canada got flung sideways on.
Well, he felt like he was missing the party.
Yeah. So
and he just lost it.
Yep. And then
he's in the podium.
But then we had France.
I mean, where's Gasly must have not been looking, because that's just really insane.
Gasly, well, I think wasn't it Ocon?
I think Ocon was because
he tried to go up the inside of him,
around the outside.
Oh yeah,
Gasly.
Yeah,
Gasly was on the outside coming back across.
Right.
Ocon was trying to fill a void.
But this is like my thing. It's like, as a driver, okay, you're on the same team. They obviously knew they were in the points.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it register?
No, because between the two of them, up ahead of you is Hulkenberg on the podium.
I understand that, but doesn't it register that you need to get through the next corner? Like I just like it gets back to this whole center. If you see a gap, if you see a gap and you do not go for it, you're no longer a racing driver. It's like, but the way this thing works, the points are the most important thing, and it gave McLaren.
I know. Yeah,
they jumped.
Yeah,
because of this. I mean,
yeah,
they're now in the. They're in the mid-pack points now.
Yeah, I think they're six.
Well, yeah, I don't have that up, but I'm just like, this is just.
I mean, the last thing you want to do is wreck your teammate. That is, rule number one. And
McLaren is now fifth, having scored 12 points.
I don't think that's going to last long, though.
I understand that, but just.
I know, but it's like 3 points given away.
Yeah, it is.
It's yeah.
So,
anyways, and then we have another red flag, and then we find out that Carlos gets a 5-second penalty, which I'm still trying to figure out. But anyways,
look at it this way: you're resorting back to what the grid
was. I know.
And
I know.
If we're rewinding, why don't you just rewind the timing too? Since they're already doing that.
But the argument, I don't agree with these red flag rules. I'm not a fan of them.
No, I'm not either.
I don't like the fact that you can
work on the
car. I don't really. I'm not trying to throw safety out of the window, but I really don't care if the car is broken and you're under red flag conditions. If you want to fix it, you need to fix it when it's green flag or it's yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it's red, don't touch the car. You don't get an unfair advantage.
What do you think you are, Sterling Marlin, Daytona 500?
I also am not a fan of these standing starts after a red flag either.
I'm fine if you have one that happens on the start, okay, and you don't finish a lap, say. First lap incident.
No.
All right. That's kind of the only plot I see. The rest of it, I don't want to see it. I think it's dumb.
Just because I think if you go from that standpoint, then you're exactly at where you were at the end of the race.
I will say one
thing
that Formula One needs to do is they need to do something with like NASCAR does. I hate to say this. So in NASCAR, you can only go in a defined area.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. They do have a spot where it's like you can go.
Yeah.
Because you're told that the pace car is I'm sorry, it's not a pace car; it's a safety car.
Safety car, Sean.
Right. So then you're told whenever it does its thing, you can go. Yeah. And it's just the dumbest friggin' thing. It's like, oh, I guess you can just step on it and go, and then like the rest of the field's like. And they had the incident where in that race where guys were backing up guys. It was just dumb.
Yeah, that was with the first safety car.
Yeah, it was just dumb.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't.
I think they really need to look at that, and meaning that you know what, you can't go until like you come around the last corner, you come down, and I don't care if there's a big friggin' cone with a green light that says go. I know it looks dumb, but that's
have a Geico restart some.
Yeah, the Xerox starting system or something.
I know.
The AutoZone power. What is it called?
Green white checkers.
No green white checkers, please.
No. But they tried that, but
no, we don't want that. All right. But I just want like the guy goes like 3/4 of the way around the track. He's like, "Oh, I can go now. See you later." It's like dumb. Anyways, so we had the third, whatever, and then the race finishes under.
Let me ask you this,
as it should, because
that just dates back to Ricciardo when the whole thing happened at Monza. Monza.
What?
The reason the race finished the way it did was because of what happened at Monza with Ricciardo when they couldn't get the car. Remember they said they were never going to do the finish the way they did it after that race. Remember they couldn't get the car.
Oh.
It took forever to get that car.
They couldn't because the car was in a bad. It was in a spot that just happened to be a bad spot.
I don't care about the show.
I know.
That's not.
I don't either.
Thing.
I'm just saying. If
saying. If K-Mag's wheel came off at that time, it did. I'm like, all right, safety car race is over. Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
Because look, here's what you got. You either end the race under safety car, which basically you did, and so you have Max win the race under safety car, really boring, or if none of that happened, Max wins the race 20 seconds ahead, still boring result.
Because if they started with if they had the pace car, sorry, I just said it again, the safety car out there, and it goes, and then Max holds on and then goes boom, see you later, and it's like,
what's the rule? You have to stay 10 car lengths ahead?
Yeah, supposedly somebody wasn't doing that.
Well, no, sorry,
supposedly Russell didn't do it.
Sorry, I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking about Sainz with his penalty.
Yeah,
if he really wanted to try and play the game, he could have kind of held back and then just blitzed it right at the end and tried to save some spots.
It's I don't know. Anyways. Whatever. There's so many problems with Formula One and their restart procedures. It's ridiculous.
Because Sean, let me ask you this: so, given everything that happened, would you have resorted back to what the grid was, or just what the end of the lap looked like of the restart? Because they came back and got the white.
If they came back and got the white.
Yeah, they went back to pit road, crossed the finish line, start-finish line.
Wait a minute, they went back to pit road.
When they restarted the race, it was on to lap 57.
Right.
So the next time by, when they rolled through the pit lane for the red flag, that's now lap 58. Yeah. So then,
but did every car cross the pit line? Because
I think all of them did, because they stop at the beginning of pit.
Because in Formula One or in most motorsports, when you cross the start line, you get credit for the lap. The pit when you cross the pit line, the start finish line, goes from the edge of the track on the outside
through the pit lane.
Yeah, but all well and good. But my point is, they did that. They completed the lap.
So
call it red flag.
It stays whatever. It stays where it is. I don't know.
Guess what? Guess what? That would have been a Haas podium if that was the case.
I agree, and that's what Haas was protesting.
Yeah.
But at the same point, like this is this Formula One or FIA?
This is F1.
F1 is
not whatever.
FIA.
Well, I
not
don't
the
know.
FIA.
They just need to clean it up. It's ridiculous. It really is.
It is.
Oh, and then we had a Max on one of the restarts, like his tires were touching the white line in the box.
And someone's like,
that's it. No, as long as your tire is touching the white line, they don't care.
The rule is as long as your contact patch of your tire is
on the white line.
Yeah.
It. Even Crofty liked that. He thought it was good. Which I'm shocked. Surprised he didn't start with that.
That start for him, or that starting position for Max, is technically the optimal position to be in,
Right.
Because it's the furthest far forward.
Right.
So you're not giving up a disadvantage at all.
Right. So I don't know. But I mean, it was just, I saw a great line today. It's like somebody said, is F1 now, is it being driven by the race stewards, the FIA, and Formula One, or Drive to Survive? And I'm almost thinking Drive to Survive.
Well,
to make it a show?
To make it a show.
We talked about this at one point. I'm like, I'm all well and good for red flags being brought up for safety, but the way that they're resuming the race and going about it, it's all about the show. And I'm like, I don't care about that.
Right.
And I understand if you want to drag in new people to the sport, it might be exciting to you, but it's a slippery slope because if you go down this road, what you're looking to imitate is NASCAR. And I'm like, I don't want these artificial finishes. Look, Max and all that, or Max and Red Bull on that race was the most dominant car and should have won it. And
fair point.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. There's probably other races in the past that happened where whatever went on in the end and the dominant car of the race didn't win. Even IndyCar this weekend, Pato and McLaren were the dominant car all race and they didn't win. Yep. Stuff happens, and I get it because that's part of racing. But you don't. You can't just throw a red flag, call it safety, and then resume the race and hope with like one lap to go or this one lap to go.
No, you're right.
You get that. I mean the idea of a two lap sprint race to me is just a green white checkered, and you're asking for a massive wreck like that, like they had happen. Just restart it under safety car conditions or rolling start, whatever. Go from there and do a sprint that way. It's much safer and it costs everyone a lot less money.
100% agree.
If you're truly trying to save money and just overall energy of what you're producing, you do not want a wreck fest.
Right.
So there you go.
All right.
So
anything else on F1?
No, we got. I think next week, we can, we have, obviously we have the Bristol race, but I think it'd be a, great point to kind of take a look back at the last 3 Formula One races, and discuss some of the rules changes and some of the nonsense that's coming out of both the FIA and Formula One in terms of rules and stuff.
Right.
Because I seriously think they're gonna. Not only are they gonna lose fans, but they're gonna. Some of these drivers are gonna be like, "I'm not doing this. They don't want it's like a clown show."
Yeah.
So, and look. You can call whether you like Max or not. Max is 100% right. I like the old style. Max he's a traditionalist. And honestly,
yes.
If you ask Lewis that, I think Lewis will say the same thing.
Yeah.
Probably the only one in the whole paddock that likes it is probably George.
Or Lance. I mean, he almost jerked himself into third place.
Anyone to boost himself up there that hasn't been on the top stuff.
It's looking. I don't know. It's like you said, Christian. It's starting to look a lot like NASCAR, and it's like not whatever.
Actually, the one good suggestion. Well, I guess I don't know. It depends on your definition. Good. The one funny suggestion that I heard was if you end up with this last lap kind of thing, where everyone just finishes under safety car. If you really want to just make it a gimmick, just do it like how football or soccer is, where for extra time you just put up plus however many minutes and you don't know when the race is going to end.
Oh my God.
I like that.
If you really want to go down the gimmick road, you can do that. But obviously I don't want
to.
But
no, it's just whatever. All right. Should we just take a quick peek at the standings? Max has now ballooned his lead to 15 points over Sergio. Fernando He's 9 points behind Sergio, but he's 7 points ahead of Lewis, who is, Latte Boy has plummeted. Shocked.
Daddy's
Cash has jumped Latte Boy.
Yes, after an Aston Martin 3-4.
So we have a customer Mercedes motor ahead of both Mercedes.
Yes.
In a sense, Fernando's ahead of Lewis.
Yep.
Lance is ahead of George.
Yep. Which means Aston Martin in total.
And then we have Lando in 8th, Nico in 9th, and I have no idea how he's still in 10th, but Leclerc.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, but tied for 9th.
Also, every manufacturer has now scored points.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I feel bad for Albon this weekend. I mean, car went.
Yeah.
He had a great run going.
Great run going.
So
Unfortunately,
happens.
Threw it off.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, and how many points does Max have, Sean?
Max has 69 right now.
Nice.
Let's see. So then, does that wrap it up for F1?
That wraps it up for F1. I think Nate and I have one shout out to Ashton Harrison.
Oh, she pulled an amazing last lap pass.
Who was racing in her first pro race.
Pro class
Race with Mario Farnbacher in the Acura NSX.
Mario Farnbacher and
is
this Wayne Taylor?
It's Racer's Edge, Wayne Taylor Racing, and Andretti Autosports, I guess, because they're affiliated with Wayne Taylor now. Anyways,
what series is this?
The SRO. They were at Sonoma this weekend, and this was in the GT3 race.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So now they did something interesting. Usually in these races, you put because they're racing in pro. They were racing in the Pro-Am race. So like Colin Brown runs with George Kurtz. Yeah. So Ashton was running as a pro driver. Mm-hmm. And Mario is running obviously as a pro. Mm-hmm. So she put a move. Nate, last lap going into the hairpin.
The hairpin and
final
just stuck it inside.
Sonoma. She
positioned herself brilliantly.
Yeah, she didn't just throw it in there. When she put the move on the guy, it was like she basically, it wasn't a block, but the guy couldn't come over. Mm-hmm. It was brilliant. Right. And she went right around the inside and boom, right down and took the checkered flag. It was one of the best moves I've seen.
Hey, Christian.
Yeah.
It's free real estate.
She didn't go over the curb either. She didn't hit anything. She
did an amazing pass.
It was probably the cleanest last lap pass I've ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah, right? And it was classy. So, anyways, well, good on her. Great start for the Racer's Edge team. They've had some tough luck in that series, but I'm really glad for her because she's really worked hard at working her way up to the ranks, and good for her.
She's been busting her ass.
She has.
And I'll tell you what, she won at Indianapolis. I think the 8-hour race.
Yeah, the 8-hour race in the Pro-Am class.
She's winning.
Yep.
So she's winning some good races.
Yep.
And it's not fluke. These are consistent.
They're over in IMSA, doing their thing in the GTD field. So, great stuff. Anyways, that's it. I got
one thing.
Okay.
So, 24 Hours of Le Mans. They have released, which it might be a small story, but they released a rules update regarding the safety car procedure there. So typically the way safety cars have worked at Le Mans for the past couple of years now is they do 3 safety cars. So basically they have 3 packs that go around the track at the same time. And the idea is that each safety car is maintaining speed, so neither one of these packs are catching up to the other one. Personally, I was not a fan of it. Just because if you say you have first and second in one class and the guy in second pits and the guy in first doesn't and stays out for another lap, and then you have a safety car that comes out. Well,
because you pit, the way that basically how far back you would be from the pit lane loss would put you into that second safety car pack, and if you were the second place car that pitted, and the first place car would be out in that first safety car pack. So immediately the first place car would get an advantage, right then and there. However, because in this kind of an instance, right, where you're assuming that the first place car would have to pit, then the first place car would pit, and then you would be done. The way how timing would work is you would get all your service done, and then you wouldn't be able to go out until the next safety car pack comes by, which in this case would effectively mean the second place car would become the first place car, because the first place car would jump to the end of the line. Now, if they didn't have to pit, but you had a pace advantage over the course of the race where you do get split up into these packs, and then both of you come in at the same time, but you're both one pack separated, it really ruined a couple races. Most notably, like GTE, it killed.
Oh yeah, the Corvette never recouped from
yes,
it.
Yeah. So it really just stagnated the race, and it stunk because there were some good strategies unfolding, and it kind of just neutralizes a bit.
Yeah. That's cool.
Anyways, regardless, this year, what they're doing is they're still going to keep the 3 safety cars and let everyone pit. But once everyone pits, they're going to join everyone up behind the leading safety car.
So they're going to remove the 2. So everyone pits, they remove the other 2 safety cars, and everyone snakes to the tail.
Joins that first safety car pack. Yeah. Then under this now long train of safety cars, they will, if you take the hypercar,
the hypercars will move to the front of the field,
move to the front, and anyone
LMP2, and then
So if you're the leading hypercar and there's 10 cars of other classes, they'll filter back. But what this will do is basically it will reset where everyone is joined back up.
And in theory, guys won't be losing phantom laps and stuff like that. Yeah.
And what I did notice is that they're also letting wave rounds go by as well.
Yeah.
Which you can do in some of the races from what I was reading.
The only tough thing at Le Mans is just the length of the track.
Yes, that's the other thing. Like it's going to bring everyone back in, and it's not. I'm all for the virtual safety cars that they do, where it's like code 60, code 90. Because again, it just kind of like neutralizes the race. It doesn't really disadvantage anyone in any way. It just keeps everyone where it is, and that's that.
No, that's cool.
But what this does is it will rejoin the pack, so you will get you won't get a race to get split up. So, which I'm excited for. Make
small, but that's cool.
It has the potential to really
make
the
race
good.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Just one quick note back on that SRO race. So Ashton Harrison and Farnbacher, they won the pro class.
Yeah.
Right.
But they did not win the race overall.
Oh, and who might have that?
Oh, who won overall?
Well, here's the crazy. This is what's crazy, and I kind of like this about SRO. Colin Brown and George Kurtz and our friends from CrowdStrike Riley Technologies Racing won the race. Fantastic. Overall. So they won, they finished first overall and first in Pro-Am. And the first 4 cars in the race overall were all Pro-Am cars.
Go figure.
Yeah, crazy. It's crazy, but it's just crazy because that's what happens when. But it speaks to the depth of those AM drivers, and Ashton has to be included in that. That are in that, because
because she brings the sponsorship to the table.
Well, her family who sponsor her throughout has their contract construction company, I guess it is, or something. But it's like crazy. And another thing too was the other team, the other person who needs a shout out is Samantha Tan. So she's run the BMW through her family's effort, and they've added John Edwards to the driving line. So apparently, the start of the race, it was Edwards Edwards on the pole and Braun was second. Jeez. And Farnbark is in the mix too. That's pretty crazy. But it's just it speaks volumes to how good some of these AM drivers, like George Kurtz, how good a driver is, because he drove the final stint. So he came out in second place on the pit stop, and he hunted the guy down, passed him, and took the lead and ran away with it. And
are you saying that driver rankings should be?
I'm saying the driver rankings are irrelevant. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, and based on this series here, this is what it looks like. So congratulations, congratulations to the SRO on this. I mean, it happened in IMSA. Pro-Am car won.
If anyone hasn't caught on, we're not a fan of driver.
It's garbage.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't mind that you say a guy's a pro or an AM. George Kurtz, he's a businessman.
Bronze, silver.
He's a businessman. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. If you want to call him an amateur driver, meaning the fact that he doesn't race full time, that's fine. Yeah. He's paying to have Colin Braun drive the car with him. I have no problem with that, because that goes back into the day in IMSA. That's how that was. Bob Aiken was a gentleman driver, businessman driver, very good. He would bring Hans Stuck, Joe Gartner in to drive his cars. I have no problem with that. But I don't want to have, you need two bronze drivers, whatever. That whole thing is just gaboosh.
No, everyone is still classified in the same class.
Yeah, but this wow. Yeah. That was amazing. But good on to everybody there. That looks like a wild show. I'm going to have to try and get to that on YouTube. I didn't, unfortunately, being skiing and stuff this weekend, I didn't get to see that. I was focusing on two of the main series. I did not focus on NASCAR. Unfortunately. Sorry, Nate.
Or sold.
Well, I did see the highlights, so.
I didn't even watch the highlights.
Anyways. All right. So on that note.
You sound like Sean, Christian.
He's stuffy.
He's
stuffy. On that note, we'll wrap this up.
Good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Ward and Harrison Tate.